Hi, this is Donna Reish with another episode of Meaningful Composition. If you caught this video and you haven't caught any of the previous ones, this is actually video 7, and this video is going to be about our essay approach to writing in meaningful composition. But you should have this book in front of you if you are a vendor or homeschool provider, Meaningful Composition Sample Book. And it is the book that I've been using to walk through all of the videos in this Meaningful Composition introductory video set. If you do not have this book in front of you, you're not a curriculum provider, but you just happened upon this and you want to know more about meaningful composition, I encourage you to go ahead and watch the videos. They are each 10 to 15 minutes long, and they explain the Meaningful Composition program extensively. And if you don't have this book in front of you, you can still figure out what I'm talking about by going to the Character Ink store and clicking on the the Meaningful Composition samples. Those samples are provided 2 weeks of samples for each Meaningful Composition book. And so that's plenty of samples of all the different types of writing. You can download them and try them with your students before you buy, but you can also figure out a lot of what I'm talking about by looking at those samples. This particular video is going to deal with our essay approach. I talked a lot in the previous videos about writing from given material versus writing from material that the student finds himself. Also about all of our pre-writing techniques and a little bit about our various outlining techniques. But in these last 3 videos, essays, creative writing, and research reports, you'll see how all of those things come together in specific types of writing. So if you could come to your table of contents again, the first page is broken up in section 1, section 2, and section 3 according to levels. But I would also like, first of all, to flip over to the how-to section. The first how-to section is how to use MC Books. And then a couple of pages over, we have choosing the right meaningful composition books for your students. On the back side of that, the second page of choosing, it breaks down in boxes how to choose each type. You can see in here how the first box is remediation for middle schoolers who have very little writing experience. The second box is remediation for high schoolers. The third box, creative writing. Fourth, essay writing. And fifth, research writing. I want to bring your attention to the essay one because that's what this video is about. Essay writing for junior high and high school students. You can see in the suggested order of books that you might want to use in teaching essays only is to start out with 5-1, Writing for Real. Now, you can, of course, as I mentioned in previous videos, start with any first semester book that you want. All of the first semester books have our how-to. How to do a sentence by sentence outline over given material. How to do our checklist challenge. And then all of our first semester books have all the types: research writing, essay writing, and creative and story writing. So all of those are in all first semester books. So it really doesn't matter where you start. But 5-1 is a good place to start for junior high students with essay writing. It has a lot of essay writing in it. And then we go to 6-2, junior high essays, and then 10-1, essays only, and then 11-1, timed essays, and the 3 Ps of persuasion. And you can see that the second semester books are type specific. So from 2nd grade through 9th grade, the second semester books are going to be about a certain thing. In this case, 6-2 is our junior high essays, and 10-1 is our essays only. And then 11-1 is the timed essay and the 3 Ps of persuasion. So that's very advanced persuasive essay writing. But that is where you will find the essays only assignments. Now the assignments that are in this book about essay writing, let's go back to our table of contents. The assignments that are in this book are from all different meaningful composition books. So basically these are from different, it doesn't matter whether it's a first semester book or a second semester book, they just came from various portions of the book. But I did want to walk you through a couple of the essays in this sample so that you can see a little bit more about how essay writing is done in meaningful composition. First of all, if you could start with the junior high section, actually go to the high school section and go to weeks 5 and 6, page 207. Weeks 5 and 6, page 207. Our essay writing actually starts out in all of the essay books with very simplified essays. We teach various essay types all throughout the books, but we start out with given material, just like you've seen in here, where we give the student a sample to write from, and then the student writes from that sample, and then the next time writes that same type of essay on her own, after having learned how to do it through the sample in the previous week and through outlining from that. We have all types of essays in our books, so we start out with fairly simple essays like 3 reasons that something is the best sport to play, or 3 best snack foods, or 3 reasons why something is a good book, a good book to read. That would be in our book review essays. And then we move into, and again, you might have just caught on a little bit from that we have our 3, and each paragraph is a different reason. We use each paragraph is a different topic, each paragraph is a different reason all the time in our essay books to start out, because it's always easier for a student to write 1 paragraph about this, 1 paragraph about this, 1 paragraph about this, and we teach them how to bring it together, how to add a topic sentence to each one, how to have your thesis statement reloaded. All of that is taught throughout all of the lessons. But then we get into more difficult essays, and they actually write some first-person essays from personal experiences. Those are a lot in our creative writing books, but an experience that they had in something. They write a lot of fun essays in our creative writing books, such as 3 reasons that Hook is a good villain or Peter Pan is a good hero. And so we just have just so many different types. But then after that, they move into more difficult types, such as the quotation essay. And in the quotation essay, they learn how to write a quote, all the different types of quote writing. And again, everything is incremental. So in the case of quote writing, the beginning of the book, they'll learn simple quotes, middle of the book, more advanced, and then so forth. Or they'll learn how to write that quote, including the speech tag, and then they'll learn how to expound upon it for a quotation essay. So they'll choose a topic like motivation, and then they'll choose 3 quotes, and then they expand upon each quote. And then we move into, from that, biographical essays. 3 reasons why somebody is something. 3 reasons why somebody is a strong president or was a strong president. 3 reasons why somebody was a great civil rights leader, or 3 reasons why an author became wildly popular, or whatever. We move into that. And then we move into our 3 P's of persuasion, persuading somebody to a way of thinking. So 3 reasons why the motivation is more important than a final product. It's starting to sound a lot like SAT topics, isn't it? We just dovetail right into that so seamlessly from our other essays. The essay that I want to walk you through today is on page 207, and it is a biographical essay using the 1-3-1 approach. In our essays, we don't call them 5-paragraph essays, we call them 1-3-1 essays, because they have 3 paragraphs for the body, and then they have something at the beginning as their 1, and something at the end as their 1. But in timed essays, you don't always have time for a complete opening paragraph and a complete closing paragraph. And so we call them 1-3-1. You have to have the middle 3 paragraphs. You have to have something at the beginning, and you have to have something at the end. So we don't call them 3-paragraph essays, because we want to focus on the fact that even if you don't have an opening paragraph, you still have to have a thesis statement. And even if you don't have a closing paragraph, you still have to have a thesis statement reloaded. 207 has our overview box. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. That was in a previous video. Tells what the whole program is about. but we teach everything all throughout here. Page 208, the 131 approach. Page 209, they've already written essays. This is weeks 5 and 6 of a high school book. This is 9-1, I believe. And so they've already written essays prior to this. And so now we're going to teach them the pattern paragraphs versus the freestyle paragraphs. So now they're learning even a more specific type of essay. We teach them from a sample. This sample is one that they actually wrote from previously in a given source project. Our given source projects are always 1 week long, and then our originals are 2 weeks long. This is weeks 5 and 6 because they're going to write originally. The previous one would have been only 1 week when they used this source to write from. But we teach them from the source. We have here where we have them walk through and highlight the first reason this person was a strong president, and then highlight the second one. It's, in here it's shown in different font, underline, italics, and boxed. And then the third one. And we teach them to do that in each paragraph. Of course, they've already written from this, so this is just really, really familiar to them. And then we teach them how to lay out their 3 paragraphs. On page 212, we teach them the strong reason, the person, whoever that president is, Washington, Lincoln, and Truman in the sample case. We teach them the reasons, ability to make tough, wise decisions, ability to create agreement, and a bedrock of moral principles. And then they have to give an example for each reason. Now, they don't know this yet, but this is actually the beginning of the 3 P's of persuasion that we do in our upper level high school books. The reason is the point, and the example is the proof. And the position is Washington was a strong president. So it's really seamless, and they don't even know we're doing it to them, just like a lot of other things that we do painlessly to teach our children and to move them along. But their position is Washington was a strong president. Their first point is that he had the ability to make tough, wise decisions. And the first proof is of how he did that tough, wise decision making is that he kept America out of war with England a second term. And we just teach this seamlessly. And this is all from their sample. They're going to keep going back and looking at that sample. Then, guess what? They do it themselves, 214. This is their writing template box. We have every type of template box, pre-writing, scene layout, color-coded research that you can imagine throughout our books. Next, on 215, we have their thesis statement. We have a sample. We tell them how to write a thesis statement, and they write their working thesis statement. Then guess what? This assignment has, if you look back at the overview box, they are assigned at least 1 quote in this project. Now keep in mind, this is a 9th grade project, so they've had quotes all throughout, and so we are going to teach them more about quotations. Again, using samples and walking through the quotes step by step on all of those boxes on 217, 218, and 219. Then they outline. Their outlining lines are very specific. We use outlining lines like this for essay writing. We use research cards for research writing. We use outlining cards for that, and you'll see that if you stay tuned for another episode coming up. But here you can see that they have their topic of paragraph A, topic of body A. If you were with me earlier, you learned about how crucial it is for this line. As a matter of fact, we are so strict with our students that if they turn in an outline with this line missing, topic of POB A, topic of POB B, topic of POB C, they get docked 1 point out of 11, 11 being an A, 10 an A minus, and so forth. They get docked 1 point for each line that they did not put that, because this is their way to learn about paragraph breaks. And if they don't do it, they won't learn it. Then we have their link transition from their thesis into their first paragraph, and then their support sentences. So very, very specific, exact outlining. We teach them skills that they need. When you are writing persuasively, you need complex sentences. You need to be able to use subordinate clauses, and so we teach them how to use subordinate clauses to write advanced sentences. Then they need to use strong verbs on 226. We teach them how to use strong verbs in persuasive writing. Then they write, and then they write their thesis statement and add it to the beginning, write their thesis statement reloaded and add it to the end. But this is just an example of one of our essay types. I mean, the essay types just go on and on and on with how we teach them to write persuasively, how we teach them to write essays using all kinds of techniques that are needed for essay writing, all throughout all books at all levels in meaningful composition.